Hey, it's your girl, Carla Renato. Welcome back to the Curvy Critic at Black Hollywood Live. I got a special one here for you with somebody from the First Wives Club. Yes, honey, Miss Ryan Bathe. Stay right there.
You're tuned into Black Hollywood Live, the world's first digital broadcast network devoted entirely to urban entertainment and pop culture. Tune in right now.
Hi, everybody. Oh, my goodness. This sister right here, let me give her a proper introduction. Miss Ryan Michelle Bathe, honey. She is starring in the BET Plus reboot of the famous movie, The First Wives Club. And yes, boo, she is starring in it. She is number one on the call sheet. Her name is the first one that pops up on the screen. And I am so excited to have her here in studio with me. Hey, Ryan.
Hi. You like the best hype man ever. I'm like, yes. Where's she at? Can't wait for her to show up. Oh, it's me.
Yes, girl. I gotta hype you up because what people won't know before they watch this is that we're both from St. Louis, Missouri.
Come on.
We from the Lou.
Yes.
Yes, we are.
All good things originate from the Lou is what I tell people.
Yes, they do. And your hubby's from the Lou, too.
Yes. My husband is born and raised in St. Louis. It's funny because he tells me I can't claim St. Louis because I left when I was 9. But my family stayed there. So that was always home base for us, even though I, didn't go to high school in there. Oh, gosh. Okay. Quick rundown. St. Louis, birth to 5. 5 to 6, South Carolina. Back to St. Louis for a year. Back to South Carolina for a year. Manhattan for a year. And then by the time I was 9, I moved to Stamford, Connecticut.
Oh, wow. You've been all over the place.
I've been all over the place. You
almost like a military brat, but not really.
Almost. My mother was in show business, and so I was staying with my grandmother, and so she had children in different places, and they would always try to convince her to come live with them because she had me, and so they thought that they could help her and help me, and so that's how I ended up bouncing around a lot. Yeah.
Well, your mother, speaking of your mother is Claire Bathe. She was in The Wiz, right?
No, my mother was not in The Wiz,
People
but she would think that she was. They always, but you know what? She sang backup on the album. That was her session.
Broadway baby, right?
My mother is a Broadway baby. My mother was in the original Lena Horne Show. The Lena Horne Show, The Lady and Her Music. My mother was the first. She had 3 backup dancers, and she was the one of the first backup dancers. And she has stories about everybody.
What's one of the stories you can share that you remember?
Oh
that
my God! I know
there's a lot.
I will tell you this. She took me to her friend's house, and her friend had this beautiful apartment, and she was wearing sunglasses, and it was at night. And she was wearing sunglasses the whole time. And my mother introduced her, and I'll tell you who it is afterwards.
Okay.
My mother introduced her and said her name, and I said hello. And she said, Claire, I don't want her calling me that. She can call me Miss Hot. So from then on,
I already know
you
who
already know who it is. She was Miss Hot. And when we go downstairs, I said, Mama, you didn't tell me Miss Hot was blind. And my mother looked at me, what makes you think she's blind? I said, well, because she was wearing sunglasses in the house, and the only people who do that are Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder, so I thought she was blind. She said, girl, Jennifer ain't blind, she just crazy. Jennifer Lewis, everyone.
Jennifer Lewis, yes. The Black Mother of Hollywood.
The Black Mother of Hollywood.
Another person that's from St. Louis.
She from Kinlock. And she will tell you.
She will tell you quick, fast,
I'm from Kinlock.
I love that so much. But the first time I actually met you, you were doing Boston Legal. And we were, girl, yes, I saved this for on the air. Yes, I did, because I want that reaction right there. You were on Boston Legal, and we were auditioning for a musical version of Sister Act. Upstairs.
We were?
Yep. Yes, girl. See?
I'm like, let me bring this back. We were?
Yes, we were.
Where were we? Whose office was it?
It was at the Pasadena Playhouse in the Carrie Hamilton Theater.
I remember. Okay, yes, because I remember having to go all the way out to Pasadena. Okay, so in LA, just so people know that there's casting offices, and there's not that many of them. So once you're here for about a year or so, you get to know the casting offices, and you're like, oh, especially there's this commercial ones, and then there's the legit one. And I remember thinking, I gotta go all the way to Pasadena.
And I remember seeing you, and I remember thinking, she can sing. I was like, oh, she's a fierce actress. She's gorgeous and she can sing. I'm gonna have to keep one eye open for this doll right here.
You are very, 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 very sweet. Yes, thank you. Yes, I do sing.
And I actually heard you sing, and you're good.
Oh, thank you. You heard it. Oh, Lord.
I heard you because you know how we do. We're like, I want to hear because at that particular theater you can hear everything. So I was like, okay, girl, I'll see you later. And then I went tip, 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 tip here.
Well, I'm so glad you caught me. I'm usually really good, with auditions and seeing people. I did one time. I tried to be, because you know how it is auditions. You get those shady people, and I was like, well, maybe being shady is how you like get ahead in life. I don't know. I was like, maybe I'm too nice. And one time I tried to do it, and I remember I was in the audition.
She tried to be
and
shady.
I crossed my legs, and it was this girl, and she's so pretty. I'll tell you. I won't tell you who it is.
Okay.
But I mean, it's one of the most beautiful actresses on the planet. And I remember thinking, I was like, I'm gonna pull myself up, and I'm gonna give her the evil eye.
Oh,
and she probably thought I was having a seizure because I'm not, you know what I mean? And I can't stand you right now. She had this look on her face, and I just remember it felt like somebody was stabbing me in the heart. I was like, you know what? I can't go out like that. I was like, if I gotta be mean, then I guess I can't do it. Because we know the ones,
I know the ones that you'll go to an audition and they'll have their little ear pods in, acting like they can't hear nothing, knowing that they got the volume turned down, they can hear everything.
Girl, and the line is, "Can I have some chicken?" You need how much preparation? No, but seriously, I mean, I've always wondered this. Like,
you don't make me have a seizure over here. Oh, I need some water.
Girl, it's like really, really. We take, and it's like 17 Asian girls, 17 black girls, 17 Hispanic girls, 17 all of the above girls.
It's a lot.
And we're all sitting there, and I'm like, come on, y'all. Like, we may as well say hello to each other. It's not like...
it doesn't cost anything to say hello and have a smile on your face. It costs nothing to do that. I'm not trying to be your best friend. I'm not trying to hang out with you. I'm not trying to follow you home in your car. I just won't say hello. It's not that deep. It's really not that deep.
Like, we're all, I'm like, why don't we see each other as colleagues? Like, this is our job. Our job is to show up and audition. And for most of us, that's going to be what we do. And you have your side hustles, whatever, but this is part of the job, and we are all colleagues.
Yes, absolutely.
You could at least tell me where the bathroom is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Girl, though, you've been in the auditions and somebody had to come out and be like, just so y'all know, the bathroom key is,
down the hall.
You know what I mean? You gotta go and turn around 5 times, and the code is 7777779. And they come out and they announce that, and then you come in and they see you got your little stuff, you got your little size, and well, what else would I be looking for? I'm looking for the bathroom. Tell me to go to... Girl, I can't.
Oh my goodness. See, now this Ryan right here, I did not know existed until I watched the First Wives Club. And I was actually, I knew this Ryan was in there somewhere when I saw you on Empire, recurring on Empire. And you turned up. I was like, well, okay, Ryan. Okay.
I am from the Lou.
You turned, okay. But you were a little bit more refined when you recurred on This Is Us, your husband's show. Mm-hmm. And now you have this show all to yourself, the First Wives Club. I'm so excited. So tell me what it feels like for you, first and foremost, to be number one. You are number one on the call sheet, girl. Yeah. Number one on the call sheet, even above Jill Scott.
No one is ever above Jill Scott.
On that call sheet, she is. Okay, let's call a spade a spade. I'm gonna call a spade a spade. On that call sheet,
funny.
You're right. No one is above Jill Scott, but on that call sheet, Ryan Bathe is. Okay, let's just call a spade a spade. But what does that feel? What emotions are running through you? Like the first day you showed up on set and you were like, oh snap, this is really happening.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It's exactly what I said to myself was, oh snap, this is really happening. There was so much to process. When I left New York, I literally, it was big. All I had was $1 and a dream. Like, you know what I mean? I really felt like, you know what I mean? Like, Walter's great. Like, nobody would ever compare me to Biggie Smalls, but I did in my head, I didn't have any, like, I had so little, and listen, not to say poor me, because there's a lot of people who do a lot with a little, but, I would walk around Brooklyn or I'd walk around Manhattan and I would be like, wow, one day I'll be able to just survive in the city, which, you know, you got to be a millionaire just to even survive in the city. And I came to LA and I thought LA would be different, and it was different in ways that you come to LA and it's so sprawling.
Yes,
right?
it is. It's very spread out.
Very spread out. And the thing about Manhattan, the thing about New York is that, like, you go out your house and you're gonna see somebody you know, and we're all in the same boat. It's very.
I'm with you on that one.
Right?
It's a very different animal adjusting from New York to here.
It's very democratic in a way, like egalitarian. We're all doing this together. We're all in the same boat. But LA, it always felt like there are those people that pose, that like to pretend that they have more than they have, and if you're somebody like me, when I first got to LA, I was very naive and I thought that people actually really had those things, and I was like, oh, I don't have any of them. And then it took me a while to realize, oh, A, that's a weave, B, you returning it at the store. Oh, okay, I see what we doing. That's not, none of that is yours. Okay, all right, good to know.
Oh my God, I cannot, girl. Before you continue, though, there's some people. We have a chat room here.
Oh, okay.
At Black Hollywood Live, and I told folk you were coming. You told folk you were coming. So I want to shout out Michael B, Rhea Gooding, Seven Mamato, and somebody else whose name I can't read right now, but they are in the chat room, and they're like, yay, Sisters of the Show Me State repping. Yay. They love the hair. It looks good.
Oh, thank you.
So I just wanted to tell them that. But you were saying that, the difference between New York and LA.
Right. So for me, I had gone through this journey, of so many ups and downs, and to come full circle, to come back to Brooklyn, and I was living in Brooklyn when I left New York. And I ended up getting an apartment right around the corner from where I had been staying in Brooklyn.
Wow.
So I went through all my old haunts, which, some of them aren't there anymore because gentrification, but that's a whole nother story. But, I was like, yo, I really have come a long way. Like, I could go in the corner store and get a kombucha every day. Not just once a week did I have to save up for the kombucha. I could go every day and get my little $4.99 kombucha. I was like, this is nice. It's a beautiful thing. Now you go back with the kids, and I had to leave the kids here, and that was a whole thing. And I just wanted to. I reminded myself every single day, and this is, forgive me, whoever's out there that this may be too much for, but every day I woke up and I played Hezekiah Walker's Grateful. And that was just like to remind myself every day just how grateful I am for this opportunity, and grateful that I am to be here, and to remind people that just because you don't get your pot of gold at the end of the rainbow at 24, do not stop. And just because you don't get it at 34, do not stop. Like, you know what I mean? Just don't stop. Just don't stop.
You have to believe in you. You have to believe in you, because nobody else is going to do it for you.
Nobody else can do it for you.
And if this doesn't work, then try this over here. If that over there doesn't work, then try something else. You just got to keep trying different things to figure out what's going to hit for you, because what's working for somebody else isn't necessarily what's going to work for you.
Amen.
Right?
Amen. And just know that, and know that my mantra all these years has been, there's more than enough for everyone
to go around,
because it can feel very much like, and in very competitive fields, not just film and television. So for anybody out there who's in a competitive field, it can feel like there's not enough to go around, and that if somebody gets something, that means that it's less for you. It can feel like that. That is not true. It is a myth. And even if it is true, if you believe it, you may as well quit. You may as well, because the minute somebody else gets something, that means there's not enough left for you, so you may as well find another profession. Yep. Don't believe it. Just choose another story, choose something else to believe, which is there is more than enough for everyone. And there are times when I honestly didn't believe it, but I just had to say it. I just had to say it.
I'm not so in that wavelength of thought. There is enough to go around for everybody. But for some folk, they think that we are other folk. And so it may not necessarily be that it's going around for everybody, but folk think we the same folk. Girl. So for you in particular, who's the person that they compare you to all the time?
These days, God love her. I love her to death. And she did go to Stanford, which is ironic, but everybody thinks I'm Issa Rae. Girl, I was at the Black Panther premiere, and so the after party was across the street.
Right.
So I'm walking across the street and I hear Issa. Issa. But I don't realize that somebody's saying Issa. I just think, I don't know what they're saying.
Right.
This man screamed and shouted me down till I turned around. He was like, Issa!
And you were like, no.
I was like, I don't. First of all, I don't know you. Second of all, I doubt that she know you. I bet she don't know you. And third of all, I'm not Issa. I am not Issa. All right. I think it's the natural hair because there's not a lot of us with the curly hair. A lot of us don't do that. I get it. I don't know.
You know, and we were talking about this before we went on the air. I was saying that my friend Yvette Nicole Brown often gets confused for Sherry Shepherd. I often get confused for Yvette. Like, it's a whole thing. And I said this off the air, and I'll say it on the air because I really just don't care. But, you know, we have different faces. We have different eyeballs. We have different shapes and body types. Like, we may look similar, but we're not that person. So just, you know, take the opportunity and take the time to, like, look at the person that you're about to shout out before you insult them. Because sometimes it's not always an insult, but it's like, can you just know who I am first instead of thinking I'm somebody else?
And you're absolutely right. There really aren't that many of, I mean, you literally just named Yvette and Sherry. You can keep those two straight? Like, you know what I mean? Like Yvette, Sherry, Carla. That's 3. Just know those 3. You know, and then maybe branch out the next week.
Yes.
That's Ryan. That's Issa. Ryan, Issa. Got it.
And then branch out and get Niecy. And then branch out and get Octavia and all the other ones. You know,
and you can keep the Reginas apart. You can keep the Reginas separate.
God. When award season was going down and I had I had a film critic on here with me, and I'm not calling him out because I called him out on the air to his face, so I'm not talking about it behind his back, but he was sitting here and he was like, he was trying to talk about Regina King, but he said Regina Hall, and he said, well, I'm going to get them mixed up a lot this award season. I'm like, I'm going to need you not to do that.
Yeah, you better
I said
not.
to his face, I'm gonna need you not to do that. It's 2 different people. They have 2 different bodies of work. I'm gonna need you to keep that straight.
Right, I'm gonna need you to keep it straight.
I'm gonna need you to keep that straight because that's not okay.
I was at the Creative Art. Oh, can I say this? I was at the Creative Arts Emmys, and Cherry Jones was giving the most beautiful speech, and she turned and she was like, I just love my co-star, and that co-star is Elizabeth Olsen. Oh my God! I mean Moss, Elizabeth Moss. You know what I mean?
That was a name situation.
Honey, and I said, you know what? When you are Cherry Jones and you've done that, and you've done all of that, you can say Olsen and Moss. You can, because Olsen is just happy to have Cherry Jones say your
y'all
name.
Sitting there like, ooh, did she just say that?
Honey, you know I was hollering. I cannot
stand you. But so let's child, we went all off on a tangent because that's how we do. But let's get on back to First Wives Club.
Okay.
So how daunting was it for you? Because this movie is a really popular movie. It had Bette Midler, Diane Keaton, Goldie Hawn in it. It had that theme song, you know. I mean, they
all wore white.
Right? Ivanka Trump was in it. Like there was all that. There was so many iconic things about it.
And so many iconic moments.
Yes. So I know I did get a chance to see some of it before I met with you because I'm not going to be that chick.
Thank you.
I thought it was absolutely hilarious. And it premieres tonight on BET Plus.
Yes. So not even tonight, like literally right now. Should anyone out there want to watch it right this minute,
you can see it. Oh, that's right, because it's streaming.
It's streaming, y'all.
It's streaming on
yes.
BET+.
Go to the App Store, get BET Plus. It's going to ask you to sign up, and you sign up, and then you pick your password. Pick a good one that you can remember, and then you click, and then all of these wonderful things are right at your fingertips, and we are the first thing that comes up. So yes, you can watch it right now.
I love that. I love it. And it's you, and it's Jill Scott and Michelle Buteau. All 3, the combination of the 3 of y'all together is pure gold.
Oh, thank you.
It is hilarious. Hilarious. And I love that your character is the one that's the most grounded between the 2, right? And those are like your ride or die friends from college,
my ride or die.
So do you have any ride or die friends from college? You said you went to Stanford, yeah?
I did.
So do you have any ride or die friends that you know you would do the same thing for them that you're doing for these ladies in the series?
And that and more and have, yes. I want to tell everybody who they are. That's Stacey Evelyn Lewis, who's my best friend from Stanford, Connecticut. She the very first one. Hi, Stacey. I love you so much. And then I pledged, so I became a Delta. So I have all of my Sans. Hi,
Oh, my god sisters are gonna love you. All three of my god sisters are Delta.
Are they really?
Girl, they go to every convention. My god sister has a whole corner devoted to Delta in the guest room. So when I go to the guest room, I got to step over Delta paddles, Delta buckets, Delta stuffed animals to get to the bed.
I may have a few paddles in my guest room too. I ain't gonna lie.
Of course, all of my god sisters got paddles and Delta stuff everywhere. It's pure comedy.
But yes, Crystal. Hi, Crystal. I don't know if you're gonna see this, but like I literally, there are people that I would just, and the women. Honestly, the women that I've met in LA too have just been the ones that have showed up have just held me up, and vice versa. I mean, honestly, Nichelle, my classmate, Sarah Surrey, my classmate from grad school. Sarah's in France. She probably won't ever see this, but that's okay. I love you, girl.
This is global, baby. She'll see it.
It's global.
You give her the link. Send her that link. She'll see it.
I could literally, I could spend the next whole rest of the interview telling you story after story after story about those women that have, when I first moved to LA, I told you I didn't have much, my stance was like, so I lived in LA and had to give up my apartment to go down to San Diego to do a play at the Old Globe, and came back. And this was in the times when you didn't have stuff at your fingertips, and if you couldn't get to that FedEx Kinko's and get on that computer, then what was you gonna do?
It was a wrap.
And I was like, I didn't have any money, I didn't have a place to stay, and your friends can see through you. And I was like, oh my God, we had gone to reunion and we had driven back up, and I was like, oh my God, it's so amazing. Okay, bye guys. And she was like, bitch, you don't have a place to stay, do you? And I was like, oh my God. And she's like, that's not a no. I was like,
Ryan.
I had no place to stay. I was going to sleep in my car. And she was like, the fact that you had the nerve to want to sleep in your car when I am alive and on this planet, how dare you think that I would ever let you do that? That's a friend. She's like, don't you ever do that.
That is
and
a
I was
friend.
like, I love you, Sam. She was like, I love you too, fool. Go sleep in the guest room. And I did for 3 months till I got on my feet. And I booked half and half.
Aww.
That's how I got back on my feet, was when I booked half and half.
With my girl Valerie Pettiford.
With Valerie Pettiford and Essence Atkins, who is one of my best friends to this very day.
Aww.
I promise you, that's where I met her and we became friends.
That's
so, yeah.
awesome. I met Yvette like that too, but that's a whole nother story. We'll talk
really?
About that
okay.
We'll talk about that another time. Okay. But these ladies, so for you guys are gonna watch it. I know you're gonna watch it. So Jill Scott is playing true to form. She's a Grammy Award winning artist.
She is.
Who's married to a philandering husband, and her career is kind of at a standstill.
Right.
Michelle Buteau is a surgeon who's also married, and her marriage is also at a standstill. You're married as well to a politician, and his career is not at a standstill, but is hedging on whether or not he wins this election, which you seem to be a crucial part of it in terms of being in front of it, right? So, having said all of that, how important do you think it is for women to hold up men in the household? Because we have jobs, and I know sometimes for some men it's really hard for them to hold us up, but how hard do you think it is for us to hold them up?
How hard it is and how important it is. I'll answer both of those things. That's a hard question to answer because, you think about Coretta Scott King and you're like, well, thank God she went through all that because now we got equal rights. But dang, did it have to be at Coretta's expense? Could you imagine if she'd been like, Martin, no, we ain't doing this today. That's enough of this. Let us go head on and raise these 5 kids. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Martin, 5. They 5 kids. But she would have been well within her rights. You know what I mean? And if I had been one of Coretta's girlfriends counseling her, I'd have been like, I don't know about this Martin dude, girl. Shoot, I got a dream too. Did you get a better husband?
I cannot stand you. You are killing me.
So thank God, Black liberation did not land on my shoulders because I'd be like, I don't know, y'all.
Oh my God. Okay, well, I know the answer to that question.
But honestly, I do think that it's dependent upon each situation, and I make but honestly, there had to have been a moment where somebody, where Michelle or Coretta Scott King or all of these people decide for themselves, I can sacrifice for a much greater good. Now, if the greater good is maybe the greater good doesn't have to be your man has a dream of whatever he has. Sometimes those dreams can be like, well, listen, dude, you have this amazing dream, and that's great, and I want you to have your McDonald's franchise or whatever it is, but maybe I don't have to subsume all of myself for this dream. You know, maybe there's a way that we can give a little and take a little, and give a little and take a little. But I do think it's very individual, and I do think it's very personal. But I would say, like you said, everybody's journey is their journey. I wouldn't say, don't say to yourself, well, it worked out for Michelle Obama and, you know, Coretta Scott King, so I'm gonna go ahead on and stick with Curtis over here. You know, maybe you and Curtis can have a different conversation, because Curtis is not Barack. Mm-hmm. So maybe you know, understand that. And there's a difference between Curtis and Barack. And maybe you can just, we also have to at all times remember, what did she say in Hamilton? Write yourself back into the story. Mm-hmm. You know, she like, I wrote myself out, and then she has this amazing song. And that to me, when I saw the play, I was like, oh, it really kind of hit me right here, because I think that that's important for women to constantly write themselves into the story. So if you have this amazing man, whether he's Curtis or Barack, you know, just remember to write yourself into the story, because, you know, if we look at Michelle, she quite literally did that, right? She wrote her own book, and she wrote her own rules for this thing of, there are no rules. She was the very first Black First Lady.
Yes, she was.
The very first one.
Hopefully she won't be the last.
Hopefully she won't be the last. I mean, hopefully we'll... Hallelujah. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to talk about politics. I'm not. Hopefully she won't be the last, but she will always and forever be the first. And she had to write a playbook for something that didn't even exist.
Absolutely.
Right? And she wrote herself into that, and she wrote herself into that story, and she found a way to support and uplift, and also be a presence that was a gift to all of us. Mm-hmm. So, you know, just remember to write yourself into the story.
Absolutely. Now, I know that you and Sterling have worked together quite often. Mm-hmm. When I see y'all, because I see y'all quite often out and about. I see y'all quite often.
She really does. Like, she's not just saying that.
I'm not just saying that. Yeah. But I see y'all out and about quite often, and I'm always flabbergasted, amazed, honored, and got mad love and respect for y'all, because I know y'all have a family, and that it's really difficult. Like, you shot First Wives Club in New York.
I did.
He's shooting This Is Us here, and you guys have kids. So I'm like, how is that happening? How are y'all able to work that out? Because that's a lot.
It is. One day at a time. Sweet Jesus. Remember that used to be the commercial?
Yes.
You would have to, like, get the album, and they would have the, you know.
Yes. No, do you remember the commercial? You might be too young for this one. The one where they would be playing the records, and the guy would go, "Let me borrow." Hey, brother.
No, my brother. You got to get your own. Girl, yes. Look. I had an old grandmother. She didn't have cable. I saw that commercial 17 times. Made up backstories for all. You know what? Lola Blank is in that commercial. Lola Blank. See, I know all the, like, any Black person over the age of 55. I know their whole thing.
Yes. I know my nose. I know I'm looking like Rudolph.
No,
I know
you are
I look
not.
like Rudolph.
You look
right
adorable.
Now.
But yeah. I totally remember that. And that it was well, how do all those old songs like "Stay," "Hey Love," "Hey Love," that one, and all your old time favorites, Cowboys to Girls.
Oh, y'all have to forgive us. Y'all have to forgive us.
You knew we was gonna cut up.
I knew we were gonna cut up, and I said we were gonna cut up online. Y'all thought I was playing. I was so not joking.
Y'all didn't know he was gonna take it back there. Yes. Okay. You asked about Sterling. I asked about Sterling. But wait,
but before you answer, I know that y'all did that documentary Black Love for OWN.
We did.
So what are some of the things that y'all shared in that documentary that are still applicable to your relationship and how you guys are navigating the business right now?
Oh my God, that's an amazing question. Wow. Most of what we shared was past tense, right? Because they asked us about different challenges and like how we met and all of that stuff. So we were, I'm gonna be honest, I've told people this before, but they don't believe me, but I did not know that it was gonna be aired.
Oh, you didn't?
I had no idea what it was. I had no idea. I had no idea.
You were just doing a favor for a friend?
Well, no, because Tommy and Cody, their story was so compelling, and I wanted to meet them. And I was like, oh my, I mean, it's LA. I'm like, I'm gonna meet. Tommy got a beard. He from Philly. I'm gonna meet some black people. You know what I mean? Right? Like, I want to know who the black people are. That like, because look, there was a time, and I'm jumping around a lot, but there was a time you will remember in Hollywood where everybody wanted to transcend race. I just wanted to transcend race. But the interesting thing, the only people who ever wanted to transcend race were black people. I was like, I ain't never seen Nicole Kidman get on TV and talk about. I was just really hoping to transcend race.
Well, it's Nicole Kidman. She don't have to do that.
Exactly. Now we know that there's like this whole world where we're like embracing who we are. We're not trying to transcend it or leave it behind. And listen, it came from a good place. I'm not trying to say that it was a natural response to what was going on at the time, right? So I'm not trying to knock those people who've ever said they wanted to transcend race, because I understand that it was coming from a good place. I understand what they meant. But I absolutely appreciate now this idea that people are relishing and reveling in what it means to be whoever they are. And I said I wasn't going to talk about politics, but it does come back to that idea of identity politics. But the more specific you can be, the more you can mine from your own experiences, the more authentic you can be, and the more that you can embrace the good, the bad, and the ugly, whatever it's called, and whatever, however you tap into that. I think that's a beautiful thing. You don't have to transcend who you are. You can enjoy who you are, whether that's being, a sci-fi nerd, which I am. I love to read. I'm bougie. I'm black. I'm from St. Louis. Like all of the, there was
all of those things.
I'm all of those things, and I can revel and enjoy them. And so when this concept came to us, which was Black love, and like really drilling down into what it is to be black and what it is to be in love with, someone, and how all of those identities converge and how you create this new identity. I just thought that was very exciting, and I thought it was like wonderful, and I wanted to go meet these people, and little did I know it was going to be on TV. I would have put on some lashes.
She said, "Nuh-uh, that's all you have to say." I cannot with you. All right, so Ari in First Wives Club.
Ariel Simone Carmichael.
Yes,
darling.
What do you want the people to know about Ari?
I think that Ari is a woman who has truly a heart of gold. And she is a people pleaser to a fault. And I think that the best thing that Ari ever did was becoming friends with Hazel and Bree.
Aw, yeah. That's beautiful.
I really do.
There's just one scene that I got my tee-hee-hee giggles on, is when Hazel's character has this breakdown because she's literally been cut off, right? And you and Michelle, I can't remember Michelle's character right now. Bree. You and Bree decide that y'all gonna go up the window washing unit to get to her. Now y'all weren't really on a window washing unit, right? That was green screen situation.
Yeah, it was. I ain't
okay, because I was like, because when they did a wide shot, there was two little people up there. I was like, I have to ask her, were they really up there? Because that's some stuff right there. Okay, so now I got the answer to that. Okay, so then y'all do that, and then you come up with this idea for this heist to get the stuff back, right? But can we just talk about how trifling it was of Hazel's husband to take the diamond out of the necklace,
girl,
and give it to the new side piece for an engagement ring? Like,
who does that?
Okay,
and you're a mogul, and you couldn't find some money for her own diamond. Come on now.
I was like,
because the thing is that. Okay, forget Hazel's character for a second. If the side chick ever found out where her diamond came from,
she's gone.
With the diamond.
She's gone because she know you ain't got no money.
You ain't got no money.
She's like, see you, bye, I gotta go. Deuces.
Deuces,
but
exactly.
It was moments like that window washing moment. It was the moment with the diamond. It was the moment where they showed the footage of her going off in the studio, aka Solange in the elevator.
Right?
It was things like that.
It was an interesting callback to that moment, which I appreciated, because they didn't do it, they did it in a way that I thought that whole setup was genius. When she finds Instagram and then she goes and she got that, she has on pajamas
and a big ginormous ginormous fur.
Ginormous fur coat. And she, I mean, my
and her hair tied up like Harriet Tubman.
Right, and like Harriet Tubman.
I'm like, why is your hair tied up like Harriet Tubman?
Right.
And you got on the fur and you throwing phones.
And
like,
you throwing phones. And the best part was she comes in, she's like, I knew. I just want to hear you. You know, she has her moment. And then the girl is like, you know, everybody knows. And she's like, you too, bitch. You bitch. I was like, to this day, I think you bitch is my favorite line.
That
I was like, ooh.
Because, and I'm bringing up all these moments because it's those moments and a plethora more that make the show so enjoyable. And I said this to you before we came on the air. This is the first time I've seen a show like this since Living Single, where you have all these women that are friends on television and just really kind of, you know, bonding and showing us what sisterhood is in a different kind of way. And I think we need to see that. I need to see a show with people like my friends on TV. I don't need to see everybody else all the time. I need to see me on TV. I need to see my friends on TV. I need to see the tee-hee-hee, ha-ha-ha, like that line you were talking about, I need to see that and laugh because at the end of the day, it's comical. There's something very funny and yet satisfying about watching all that, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm so glad you get that. I'm so glad that that's how it is because, you know, we have 3 different women, 3 completely different walks of life, 3 sizes, 3 colors, 3 hair textures, 3 personalities, but yet and still and I keep saying this and I will say it over and over and over and over again, we are specific.
Yes.
We are specific, real characters who aren't just general. You can tell when there's a character that's like, oh, well, we'll just make her black. Okay, black. And she'll be a lesbian. Sure, she's lesbian. And can she have, like, I don't know, dreads? Great. Okay. And it's like these general sort of ideas about what people are. But we get this opportunity to have specific, very specific people. I mean, we even meet my mother. You know what I mean? We get to hear about them going to college and little snippets of what happened to them when they were in college, and it enabled me as an actor and all of the 3 of us to really talk about and, you know, our backstory together and individually and really weave this like real world that, you know, obviously isn't real, but it was real for us, and then I think it'll be really, really real for the audience. And in that specificity, in that reality, that's when you see yourself.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean because I saw myself and I was so excited. Girl, we have run out of time.
No, we haven't.
Yes, we have.
That says 16 minutes.
No, I don't.
Oh, no.
We have run out of time. But you're going to have to come back and co-host with me or something.
I will do.
Because, girl, we had way too much fun.
Yes.
I was so excited for you to come. It was so wonderful having you here.
And I was so excited to come to. I've met you, you know, seen you out and about in the red carpet, but it was really nice to actually have this time.
Yeah, because like you said before, usually it's like, hey, girl, hey, and hug, kiss, click, go, you know. But yeah, this was nice to be able to have this time. Absolutely. So tell the people where they can find you on social media and tell them the information about the show once again, where they can find it.
Okay. On Twitter, I'm at Michelle Shell because my middle name is Michelle and Michelle Obama is my favorite person. So I was like, Michelle Shell. And it would have been Obama if I didn't think I was going to get arrested. So that's Twitter, at Michelle Shell. And my Instagram is at Ryan Michelle B. And I am on Facebook, but don't friend me because I don't know if I can have all those friend requests. And
you can have it up until 5,000.
Oh, okay, good. Then go ahead, friend me. I'm telling you, I'm friend you back. Yeah. BET Plus, you know, you can download the app. I did a web series called Hysterical Pregnancy. That's on Facebook. You can find that. What else do I have online? I really hope that's it. I heard somebody put like there's some website about feet, and I guess my feet are on it. Yeah, Ryan, it's kind of creepy. I'm just trying to tell people where they can find me.
Girl, they not looking for your feet. We're not here to promote your feet. Oh, okay, really? And the flip-flops. I cannot. But y'all, that is it for this edition, episode 78 of The Curvy Critic with Carla Renata with Ryan Michelle Bathe, my girl.
Thank you.
Please don't forget to check her out on the First Wives Club at BET Plus, which is streaming right now and support her better half, her hubby, Sterling K. Brown, on This Is Us on NBC.
Yeah.
But until the next time, y'all, you can find me right here, usually every Sunday at 5 o'clock Pacific time. And right after this, you can usually find me on Sundays at 6 o'clock doing the General Hospital After Show. But until then, love, peace, and hair grease. Until the next time, I will see y'all in a minute. Bye.
On behalf of our BHL staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in to Black Hollywood Live, the world's first digital broadcast network devoted entirely to urban entertainment and pop culture. Check out our Black Hollywood Live YouTube page for even more great programming and amazing content, and be sure to subscribe and like our channel when you do. I'm your BHL host, Nakia Monet, and you can find me on all social media at Kiki Boom Boom or at Black Hollywood Live. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.